And I will start reading in 3, 2, 1. Hello, boys and girls. Today we're going to be reading a special story. The Never Meant to Be Irate Gamer AVGN / fiction. Can you just feel the tantalizing emotions? I know I can. Watching from afar, the irate gamer watched the angry video game nerd and nostalgia critic make out. He can feel his heart sink as his one true love, James, kisses another man. The nerd and nostalgia critic have been lovers for over 2 years now, and they were so happy together. They didn't care who saw them kiss, not even fatties who wear stupid hats or mega ugly cunts who dress as the nostalgia critic who seem to think their love is gross. IG was very proud that they are not ashamed of their homosexuality, but he was also hurting. He loved James. He loved him for a while, and he knew he will never have him. "Oh God!" thought the irate gamer as he saw the angry video game nerd's hand slip down nostalgia critic's pants. "Why must they do this in public?" He looked away as stared at his double whopper as he reminisced about that night. That night with James. It was January as I walked down the street. "I can't believe I'm hungry again," I thought. I was wearing a short-sleeved black shirt with a Pikachu on the front and camouflage shorts. In my right hand I held a handful of games I purchased at a second time around store, and a pack of gum. It was 7 p.m. and it was twilight out. I looked around, lost in thought. I didn't notice that a group of teens have started to trail behind me. "Wow, it's really cold out here," was the last thing I thought, until one of the teens behind me suddenly leapt in front of me. He was black and was much taller than me. He was wearing a black sweatshirt and Ed Hardy jeans. He looked at me like a Rottweiler ready to pounce. "Where you going, white boy?" Then all his friends, also black, started to surround me. They all wore the same exact attire, and I wondered if they were a gang or something. "Leave me alone," I said as sternly as possible. But I won't lie to you, I haven't been this scared in my life. The black guy who confronted me first tilted his head to the side and started staring at my hand, where I held my video games. "I see you has something for me." "Shit," I thought. "I knew walking down the street with PS3 games in my hand was a stupid idea." I tucked the games under my shirt as I stood my ground. "Look, I have money. Please don't start any trouble." I gulped. "I'm an internet personality. I need these games for my show." "Who fucking cares? You better give me them games, white boy. You'll be the one starting trouble," the black guy said as he closed in towards me. He looked like this guy who used to tease me back in middle school, and I won't be surprised if it was him. I stepped back until I bumped into one of the guy's friends who was behind me, and he violently pushed me forward, and I stopped when the first was only a foot away from the leader. I put up my fist and said, I know boxing. I can really kick your ass. Don't fuck with me, jerk." Everyone laughed, and before I knew it, I was knocked to the ground by a right hook right to my jaw. I felt my games pop from under my shirt onto the sidewalk, and saw them reach and take it. I looked up at the guy who punched me, and he was grinning like a chimp. "What now, dog?" And he laughed. I looked down, basking in my own self-hatred. "Gaw!" yelled one of the black guys, and I looked up and saw he fell to the ground. All of my attackers stopped and looked at the same time I did, and we both saw a skinny man with glasses wearing a white button-down shirt and khakis. I smiled as I knew who he was. "Angry video game nerd!" I squealed. The other guys were not pleased. Out of nowhere, this scrawny white boy came and kicked their comrade in the face. "Who the fuck is this?" said the first guy who hit me. "Leave him alone or you'll be sorry," said AVGN. I haven't counted how many of the guys there were, but there were more people than he was. "I'll be sorry? Man, fuck you! And the leader pounced at the AVGN. AVGN jumped in the air and did a spinning kick in the thug's face, knocking him out cold. The thug's friend stepped back as AVGN landed right next to me. He took his finger and pushed his glasses up, and he looked at me. "Are you all right?" I nod. I never noticed before, but AVGN was beautiful. My heart soured. He lifted me up. "Come on, let's go!" And we started to flee. One of the black guys started shooting, but we ducked behind a parked car. A police car happens to drive by and saw us. Then they saw the guy shooting at us, and the policeman called for backup and started shooting at the thugs. There was a massive shootout between the police and the thugs. The leader shot his load on the policeman's face, killing him. But luckily we escaped, so we didn't have to watch any of it. Only when we were down the street and safe from the bullets did I notice AVGN's hand on mine. I blushed and felt warm suddenly. He painted for a second time, then turned to me, releasing my hand. "Are you okay, Irate Gamer?" "Mm-hmm," I managed to say. James was so beautiful, I couldn't help but staring. "Good. I saw those guys walking behind you, and I knew they were up to no good. I couldn't let a fellow personality get served." James starts walking. "Come on, let's go to my place and fix you up." I blushed hard at the thought of going into James's place. I was surprised of how close it was to mine. I wanted to make a suggestion that we should visit each other often, but that idea slipped from my mind. I entered his place of residence and was greeted with the smell of lavender and rolling rock. "Want a beer?" James says as he sits down on his couch. "Yes, I would, thank you." James hands me a rolling rock. The Irate Gamer had a side thought that he had almost forgot. "By the way, you won't by any chance have something to eat, would you?" "Oh yes, I was making dinner actually. It should be done by now." I almost rushed to the kitchen. In the oven was 2 hot dog pizzas. James took them out and had to remind me to wait until it was cool. They sat and talked. "Actually, I wanted to make an ET game review too, but I figured that was something that would have to wait. I mean, it's the worst game ever made. It's going to be have to be reviewed in a special episode," says James. "And by the way, I love your review of that game." I blushed. "Really?" "Yeah, it's funny. I have to find a way to top that." James got up and took out some plates. I didn't notice that he brought 3 plates to the table. He was too happy that James complimented him. "I think it'd be a good idea if you freshen up. You were on the ground and there is blood on your face." I looked at my reflection on my plate and saw there was dried blood on my lip, probably from when the thug punched me. I thanked him again and went to the bathroom. In my reflection after I washed my face, I studied my face. I squeezed pimples and blackheads, licking the residue. Looking into his medication cabinet, I found some aqua vulva and splashed my face with it. I also washed my mouth with it. I picked my teeth and groomed my eyebrows. This is when I was sure I was sexy enough for James. I walked out with the stride of a pimp back to the kitchen. When I entered, my spirits dropped completely. James was engaging his tongue in an epic battle with the nostalgia critics. Apparently he came home while I was in the bathroom. I never knew that these two were lovers. The nostalgia critic playfully smacked the nerd's small ass as he grinds up against him. The nerd moaned in NC's mouth as he played with his sexy glasses. If I wasn't there, they would have started fucking each other right there on the dinner table with the nerd on the bottom taking it all. I ran out crying out the door and onto the street. I prayed to God for him to send a car to run over my head, crushing it as it drove off with blood and gore on its tire. I wanted to die. I screamed and cried. The first time I ever felt this way for someone. They were already in love with someone else. I hear a car coming and I thank the stars, but then it swerved to the side, missing me by a foot. The occupant of the car ran out and asked me if I was okay. I looked at him, but I couldn't see his face. His voice sounded very strange, and he wore the same clothing as the AVGN. I looked down, his clothes reminding me of my love. Yes, I am okay." I took his hand. The Irate Gamer sat and continued to watch the nerd and the critic kiss, wishing he was in the critic's place. "He is so lucky." Just then, arms wrapped around Irate Gamer, holding him close. It was IGSRJ, his new lover. It was him who sat in the car. "Let's go, baby." IG and IGSRJ have been dating for a little while now, and it was evident that IGSRJ was in love with IG. I'm sorry, I can't love you like you love me, thought IG as he stood up and emptily hugged him back. He kissed him romantically and thought, I'm such an idiot. Okay, baby, let's go. And IG and IGSRJ walk off hand in hand. I'll get over it. The end.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck was that?
Oh, wait a minute, dude, you know, like that it?
Yeah, that was
Oh,
fucking
Jesus
horrible.
Christ.
Hey,
Oh.
George, my mic was muted, right?
If only the other one was still on there, man. The other one was fucking